Hello, home listener. This is your host with the most, JJ Gordon, the host of JJ Meets World, because it's called JJ Meets World and I'm the host. Do you see how these things work? Okay, if you walked into a grocery store called Libby's, you could ask for Libby. You're going to enjoy this episode of JJ Meets World because we touch on a lot of ground, including office Christmas parties, something I'm passionate about, and Tucker has got a cockamamie idea about wrapping presents. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of JJ Meets World, hosted by me, JJ Meets World. And by the way, if you'd like to help support our podcast, visit jjmeetsworld.com where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some killer swag at our merch shop, or click the link to Apple Podcast and give us a 5-star review.
1, 2, 3, 4. JJ Gordon, sort of like that Indiana Jones, in that he's always sniffing out his next adventure. Yes, he is. He's always interviewing guests so he can have them on his show and they can talk about pop culture, arts, and leisure. JJ has his flag unfurled and he likes his french fries curled, and he's fun and then he twirled as he goes to meet the world. He will march into the rain even if his ankle sprained. Take a peek inside his brain. This podcast is called JJ Meets World.
Yesterday, my wife was coming home from Minneapolis with her family. They left early because they heard that there was going to be a storm in Minneapolis and didn't want to get trapped there. And I thought to myself, okay, whatever. So they make their way home, and while they're making their way home, I'm like, I'm going to just make sure the house is clean because I started a project that was my holiday project this year, which is I'm going to gift a bunch of my friends things that I've made at home. So some infused olive oils, like in these special bottles, my homemade scrambles, which is the Dawson family Chex mix that predates the Chex mix recipe, everybody.
I was wondering what that was about. When you said scrambles, I first thought scrambled eggs.
No, I won't be delivering scrambled eggs to people for the holidays. I haven't hit that level of, oh my gosh, I think we need to get him some medication yet.
Your social media post alluded to it being the largest batch ever made.
It is the largest batch I have ever made. Usually you do this in one pan, maybe two. I used 8 yesterday, so it's a massive amount. And I did this particularly because I can't believe I'm about to say this. I was shopping for Chex Mix, which, by the way, has gone up in price. And they had a deal where it was like, you can buy any 2 boxes of Chex Mix for $5, so $2.50 a box. But on the side of the box, if you buy 3, you get a Peanuts tin, like a metal tin. And I said, oh my God, yes. And so I end up buying 12 boxes, but I have to go to 4 different grocery stores, not because they ran out, but because I had to have a receipt dated on different dates to be able to turn in to get this, because you had to buy 3 to get the tin. So I went to different places, got my Chex Mix.
This is like when people try to buy NyQuil at multiple places. They don't want to get on the list.
It is. So I want to make sure I got all my promotional Peanuts tins. So I'm making this thing. So I decided, and the house is going to smell like Worcestershire sauce and garlic and butter and all that kind of good stuff. But it's overwhelming. So I said, I'm going to clean the house. And while I'm cleaning the house, I am going through the little bin where I keep my mail. And I'm like, oh, look at this. A king-size Snickers bar. Hell yeah. I must have picked one up, put it here, and then forgot about it. And so I'm super excited about this. And I spend the next 30 minutes cleaning the house. I clean the bedroom. I get some laundry done.
Because you found that bar, you're like, there must be more.
Well, no. I'm reward myself, right? I deserve a reward. So I clean the house. I get everything done. And I'm like, now it's time for Poppy to have a treat, right? Pop gets a treat. And I go to the living room couch where I put my cold Diet Coke, and there's no Snickers bar. But there is my dog, George, sitting there on a fluffy blanket, staring at me. And I was like, you little shit, did you take my Snickers bar? Where did you put it? And now he doesn't eat food off of plates. He's a pretty good dog. So this surprises me that he would have stolen my king-size Snickers bar, which, by the way, weighs just about as much as this little poodle does. So I decided, you know what? I look under the couch. I look into the fluffy blanket. Snickers bar is nowhere to be found. So then I start looking around the house. I'm like, mother Tucker, I am in a bad way because it's not in the kitchen. It's not even in the candy drawer. I didn't absentmindedly like put it in the candy drawer while not thinking. I checked the oven. Maybe I accidentally put it in there when I was stirring the scrambles. It's not in there. I go upstairs. I check the bedroom. It's not in the bedroom. I'm like, oh my gosh, I threw out the master bedroom or bathroom garbage. So I go and I sift through the garbage, thinking that maybe I had the Snickers bar in my hand and I threw it away at the same time I tossed the garbage away. Can't find it. It's nowhere to be found. Now, at this point, my blood sugar is starting to dip low for two reasons. I've frantically been running around the house looking for the Snickers bar, and my body has already aligned itself to the fact that it will be eating the Snickers bar, right? So
This sounds like an episode premise.
It does, right? Like a single bottle episode of it's like the Fly episode of Breaking Bad, right? But it's one guy looking for the candy bar he misplaced. I look everywhere for this thing, and it's not there, and I blame George, the dog.
I'm already worried that he ate it.
If he had eaten this, you would see it inside of him. You know, like when a snake eats something, you would have seen, that's how big. I mean, it's a king size Snickers bar, and he is a toy poodle.
Yeah,
you would have seen this thing inside of him.
You would step on George if you didn't realize that there was a dog in the house.
Right, exactly. Not only that, but there's no way he could have been hungry because I gave him all the turkey gizzards over the weekend, and I chopped them up real small for him, so he had been eating the heart and the liver and the pancreas, whatever else they put in that little baggie that gets stuffed. So I finally get to the point of where I'm like, I've just lost this candy bar, and I don't know where it's going to be, and I'm sad. I'm actually sad. Jill gets home. We talk about her trip. I mentioned that I misplaced this candy bar, the second she walks through the door. Just being so if you see it around the house, I'm looking for this candy bar. And she said, well, why don't we just go get you another candy bar? We could go get you another candy bar.
I wanted that one.
That's what I said. I wanted this candy bar, and I was ready for this candy bar, and I needed this candy bar. So we have Chinese food for dinner, to which I go out and pick it up, so I could have gotten a Snickers bar, but I didn't.
And in your head, you're just thinking that Snickers bar's flying by.
Mm-hmm. I'm just like,
no. You're eating Chinese food.
So, and then we watched the movie Office Christmas Party, which really is quite delightful if people haven't seen it. I know it's from 2016, and it's sort of a forgotten comedy, and there's some people in it who have had not great.
Who is the cast of that again? Remind me.
It's Jason Bateman, Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
Kate. What's her name from SNL? Kate
McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon.
Okay.
And then T.J. Miller, who's the problematic guy. Rob Corddry is a gem in this movie. Jennifer Aniston. How did I sleep on that one? A gal named Abby Lee, who I'm madly in love with.
And is the whole premise just that it takes place at the company's Christmas party?
The company, it's a tech company in Chicago, and they've got branches all over the country. And T.J. Miller is the head of that branch, and his dad had started this tech company back in the 70s. Jennifer Aniston is his ball-busting sister, who is now the CEO and is closing branches, and she threatens to close theirs unless they get this big deal for a server, someone who needs a server acquisition. And the guy says, I like your servers. They're great, but I have a problem with your company culture. And so they had canceled their Christmas party because they don't have the money for it. And so then they decide, we'll show this guy a great time. We'll show him how awesome the Christmas party is. And then it just gets out of hand. Someone finds out that they're going to close the branch, and so then it gets even more out of hand, and random people just get invited. There's a guy, in fact, I'm going to figure out what his name is, but there's an actor who I cannot get enough of right now, and he has been in so many things where he steals the show. His name's Sam Richardson. He started on a comedy series called Detroiters. He was in Veep, I Think You Should Leave, The After Party, which if you haven't watched the series The After Party, it is a geniusly done show. Velma, he was Shaggy in Velma. He's got a guest star in Ted Lasso. But so he's just sort of this everyman sort of guy, and he always acts with a smile on his face. And so in Veep, he plays a character named Richard Splett. And he goes, Splett, my name's Richard Splett. And they're like, all right, Split. And he's like, yep. And he doesn't correct them. He's funny. But he plays a guy who works at this company. He goes, I've got a friend who is a DJ, and he's really good. And I think that he'd be really good for this party. But he shows up, and he's the DJ Calvis. And instead of like having a bunch of sound effects, he's always doing the wah, wah, wah himself. And Sam Richardson, I tell you, he's great.
How many office Christmas parties have you attended, would you say?
Well, I performed at a lot of them, remember?
Oh, that's a good point.
I've been.
Oh, that's a great point.
I've been to over 1,000.
Then you have way more data than I do.
Yeah, I've seen the things that make an office party amazing, and I've seen the things that kill it.
Okay, what are the cardinal sins? I want to know. I want to get that on the record because I've gone to Christmas parties as an employee, and I have a rule that I do at Christmas parties.
Oh, what's that?
I do 2 beers and that's it.
Oh, by the way, I should also at 1:30 in the morning, I crawl into bed and found the Snickers bar. I had dropped it while I was making the bed. So just in case people are wondering what happened to the Snickers bar.
Leave that thread dangling.
I put it on my bedside table, and then I took it with me this morning on my way. And
I would have eaten it that moment.
I couldn't. I was all full of Chinese food.
You found it in your bed.
In my bed. Luckily, it wasn't open. And luckily, I saw it because there's a world where I could have slept up against it and melted it into something just awful. It would just been horrible. Okay. The number one cardinal sin of an office Christmas party is to host it at your office. I know that it seems like that might be economical. That is the worst idea you can do because people then are just at work. You're just at work. And I've seen people who've really, really tried. They've made every attempt. And the same thing goes for post-prom parties. If you can get the post-prom party out of the school, it's going to actually seem like it's different. Even if you rent the bowling alley a block and a half away, it doesn't matter. It just is one of those huge things. 2 is to have an endless open bar. So drink tickets are the way to go because when you walk in and if I give you 2 drink tickets, if you're not drinking, you can give those to somebody else, right? And then as the boss, you should be walking around handing out more drink tickets as the night goes on. So there's drink tickets, drink tickets, drink tickets. Also, you hand them to your employees. You don't hand them to their plus ones, right? And then I would say like this is another one that I think is important. Don't have a big table showing off the prizes that you're going to like raffle off. And the reason for that is if you're looking at this thing all night long and you go home empty-handed, you think to yourself, there's a giant table full of presents and I didn't get anything. I think it's great. You should definitely give away stuff. And then when you give it away, just tell someone what it is. And like, hey, at the end of the night, we'll meet you out at the, on your way out. Karen's handling this. The closet's, full of all the stuff. And there you can go. Also, under-ordering food. Have you ever been at a Christmas party where they under-order the amount of food?
I've actually been really lucky in that no, I've been to good Christmas parties. But yeah, I think that's a cardinal sin for any party. Like, you should expect to have food left over at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because you ordered too much, and that's a good idea.
The entertainment should always be outside the office. That's another thing too, because I've been to places where the boss like puts on a sketch, and it's a fine line because you want to be slightly self-deprecating, but you also don't want something where it's uncomfortable and cringe to watch it. And at the same time, I watched a boss, like the president and the vice president of a company, do the Who's On First routine. And if you ever watch it, that's like 15 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And the whole crowd is sitting there being like, wrap it up. We're done with this, wrap it up. And that was a hard one to watch too.
I both love and hate people who don't understand like how to set the mood for like a show for entertainment. I wish I could remember what stand-up comic this was who told this story about them bombing. And the story was they got hired for some private event at a company, and so they're going to do stand-up comedy there. And right before they go on, like the CEO goes up and starts talking about this like employee that they had just lost.
Yep.
Who had died. And starts then how we miss him so much and all this blah, 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 blah. And so to try and make us feel a little happier tonight, here's some comedy, right? And they bring this guy out. So he goes out and he bombs for like 15 minutes.
I've been in that exact same position.
But then when he leaves the stage, he turns and looks back and sees that what he thought was a spotlight on him the whole time was actually a projection of a photo of the guy's face.
Ooh.
So he's up there doing stand-up, and just the image of this guy's face is on him the whole time, and he had no idea.
Oh my God. Can you imagine what that would be like? Oh. That's another thing too, is like there needs to be somebody in your business. So I would say 9 times out of 10, a Christmas party is planned by someone that you deem as not being very busy during the day. So a lot of times it goes to like your front desk or your secretarial staff, which is so wrong.
Make HR do it.
Right. Well, or
HR should do a planning committee or something.
Yeah, get like 4 people together. I mean, they make fun of it in the office, but like there's a reason why that's funny, is because it's true.
You know how I would do it too? I wouldn't tell people who's going to be on the planning committee, but I'd get like the 10 candidates together. I'd have them all wrap a present in front of me. Whichever ones are like, just have it done. I'm like, all right, you're the ones who are doing this.
Versus the ones who make it like absolutely perfect?
No, the ones who are perfect at it. It's okay, you're competent enough to make an amazing rat present. You can probably figure out a present.
Okay, I beg to differ with you, because the person who makes the most perfect present took too much time to do something that's going to be ripped open.
Oh, I'm not saying that the present has to necessarily be perfect. I'm watching them wrap the present, right?
But
so if they do
like,
a great job, and they definitely have...
I want someone who gets from start to finish and doesn't care if like the sides are a little bit bowed. It's no big deal. You know, I used 3 pieces of tape when, someone else used 5 because they wanted all the things.
No, I think we need military precision. I think we need military precision.
That is not the person that you want in charge of your event, because then you've got a bridezilla.
No, I think you want that person.
I'm going to tell you right now. I tell you what, because I know that you've been around those people, and I know that you know what it's like to watch them like freak out when something simple goes wrong.
As long as I'm not in charge of shit, I don't care. But
what if it snows? What if it snows that night, Tucker? What if there's, oh God, Tucker, what if peace in the Middle East
there will probably
is solved the night of? Actually, you know what the perfect example of somebody like the best laid intentions and then watching like an event go to hell in a handbasket is the episode of Mad Men where Roger Sterling's daughter gets married the day JFK is assassinated. And watching them limp through that wedding it's, in all honesty, it's one of the most amazing episodes of that show when they take a premise, right? Because she's a brat, she's like a trust fund brat, and you see all these empty tables, and Roger's giving their speech. He's like, all right, everyone, you can have both the prime rib and the lobster. There's enough. Please, everyone, fill the tables up front. Fill the tables up front. And even like when Don, is Don married to Megan at that point? I don't think so. I think he's still married to Betty. And
because that's where Sterling does blackface, right?
No, that's at his Kentucky Derby party.
Oh, okay.
That's the one. Yeah, that's his Kentucky. And then he's married to Jane at that point. Not that people need that deep of a dive into Mad Men. My Old Kentucky Home is the title of that episode. But yeah, his daughter's wedding is a great episode of like when something goes wrong, you just have to decide, okay, are we going to go ahead with it? Like, I've been to company Christmas parties where they invited 150 people, and there was inclement weather, something like that, and like 20 people show up. And you know what's amazing? Those are some of my favorite shows. Not because those are people who are like, I'm going to brave the weather, but they are there to have a good time, and we just get intimate with it, right? We have a lot of fun. I do a scene about people driving on their way, there, and this is great.
Roger Sterling
From Mad Men.
Best character.
John Slattery.
In Mad Men.
Who's, by the way, in a movie right now called Nuremberg that is really good. I think Russell Crowe might get an Academy Award nomination for it.
Right, that's right. I came upon, there was an internet meme the other day that was, who's cooler, Don Draper or Roger Sterling? I was like, Roger Sterling.
Yeah.
Is 100% cooler.
100%.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, John Slattery wears that character like a second skin.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, you almost, like, when I see John Slattery in real life, I'm like, no. You're playing a part now.
Yeah.
Your real
That's
persona, that's
you.
Roger Sterling is the real you.
If I'm planning a party, though, I'm thinking in terms of who do I need to make sure are some key strategic invites to make sure we'll have a good time. And Roger Sterling would be one of those people in that circle, right? Because he's so charming. He makes everything fun. You know, even if when things go wrong, he will make sure that you're still having a great time.
Okay, let me take this even a dive deeper. This is becoming a Mad Men episode I like. In the Mad Men episode where they've canceled their Christmas party, but then find out that what's-his-face from Lucky Strike Cigarettes is going to come to their Christmas party, and they have to throw it together in like 2 hours, he goes to who to plan a Christmas party in 2 hours? Joan. And Joan, this is the way Joan runs the party. She goes, like, call Phil Wong's and, you know, get all this Chinese food delivered.
Military
right?
precision.
She's like, go get the gin out of the, like, you know, this. And then she tells, like, all she's like, we got to make sure that this place is full and happy faces. And she gets a secretarial pool and she's like, invite any of your girlfriends to come to this party as well. So that she has, like, girls and stuff like that. That's also the episode where Freddie Rumsen comes back. And they ask him to play Santa Claus, and then the guy, God, I can't think of the Lucky Strikes. He takes over for his dad, Lee Barnum Jr. Lee makes him dress up like Santa Claus, and people like are sitting on his lap, and Lee is taking pictures of them with a Polaroid, and Roger's sitting on the thing, and the head of TV, Rich, what's his face?
Summers.
Rich Summers has been on our podcast.
Previous podcast guest, Rich Summers.
He sits down and he goes, I'm sorry. But like, that's the thing is like, Joan is organized. I wouldn't call it military precision. She just knows what needs to get done, and she's going to do it, whether it's polished or not, which is why like they play that game where you pass the apple or the orange under your chin. There's a bunch of party games I've never really understood. Like, that's one of them.
There's an
Suck
episode,
and Blow. Have you ever seen Suck and Blow?
There's an episode of Pee Wee Herman's Playhouse where they do the orange tangerine through like neck thing.
You hold it between your chin and your neck, and you have to pass it off to someone to their chin and neck. And I guess like it's fun because you're so close to their mouth.
I think it's one of those things that was invented back when there was no electricity. And it's like, we got to do something with all these oranges. Like, where there's too many things. But I remember there's...
the irony is that at that time, it would have been difficult to get an orange.
That's true.
In that time of year.
They probably did apples or something.
Someone must have brought the orange from Florida.
Yeah, they did baseballs. There was an episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse where he played that with a woman who was, like, as a kid, I thought she was beautiful. And I remember...
Was it the Queen of Cartoons?
I don't remember it. I saw this as a kid, so I'm going back to that one memory I have. And I remember he drops the orange. Pee-wee does. And then catches it against her lower on her body. And then, like, has to work it up the side of her body.
Oh.
And I remember as a kid being like, I feel funny.
This is bringing out stuff inside of me. Well, you know, one of the things... So, like... my boss in 2016 went and saw the movie Office Christmas Party and then was like, this is what we want to have for a Christmas party. We'll have fun. And so he came to me and he goes, hey, I bet you have an ice luge. And I was like, why did you think that? Also, yes, I do have the frame for an ice luge. But like in Office Christmas Party, the movie, there's a thing where they do an eggnog luge, but it looks like it's something else. And so he wanted to have this like ice luge. And I was like, and he's asking me the day of, and you have to freeze 2 giant blocks of ice. And I was like, I don't know, maybe it'll freeze, but no guarantees. Like, I'm going to have to go home right now. You want me to miss this meeting and go home? He's like, yeah, go home and do it. And I remember like whatever the thing, like, and then at one point everyone wanted to make the Catalina wine mixer. from Step Brothers. Like everyone wanted their event to be like that. And I'm like, whatever movie came out that you're trying to copy from, you don't need to.
Greatest, I want to say cinema history, but it's not. It's television history. Christmas party of all time is the ending to the British Office.
Oh,
ends in a Christmas party.
Because it was a Christmas episode.
Christmas episode, the final episode. That is the greatest of all time.
It's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it's a pretty good one.
It's greatest of all time.
And why doesn't American television do stuff more like British television, where they have these Christmas specials that are a big deal, and it's not just an episode during a show. Like they'll like I don't believe there were any episodes of The Office that season at all. It all just was the Christmas special.
Going back to me saying my rule for going to Christmas parties, no more than 2 beers. Mm-hmm. No hard liquor at all. No wine, none of that. Because that is the night where you're going to find shit out about your coworkers that's going to give you a leg up at your job, if you know what I mean. Some people are going to make some mistakes that night. Mm-hmm. Big mistakes. And you will be there to be sober and to see all of it. And then to take that with you.
I still do an impression of one of my old coworkers of a dance that they did at a Christmas party after one too many vodka sodas. It's interesting to me because a Christmas party is just that. It's a Christmas party. It's a celebration for the year of work that you've done. Now, I would say if you really want to like make your team happy, have your Christmas party in mid-March. And this is why, because I go to a lot of Christmas parties in mid-March. People need it at that time of year. People are busy right now. They are very, very busy. They do not need another obligation. But mid-March, the idea of like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to eat some shrimp cocktail. And I'm going to be able to have a drink or two and I can let loose. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And I don't have to wear a Christmas sweater. I can wear, go Penn State if your March Madness bracket hasn't been burst. Why not, right? Like, that's the time of the year that you should be doing that. For the same reason why, we talked about a second Thanksgiving, right? Like a mid-June Thanksgiving meal holiday that we create. Let's get out of the norm of always doing stuff at the same time.
Well, how did it happen that like our 4 biggest holidays technically all happen within the same 3-month period?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask, because there are people who say like, oh, well, actually, based on the position of the stars, it sounds like the baby Christ was actually born in July. So, I mean, but like that's part of the pagan tradition, right? Like most of our Christmas stuff is part of pagan traditions. And then New Year's, we just decided that was going to be the time we turned the clock, around, which is funny because we don't do it on like an equinox, which would make more sense to me, like for that to happen. And then Thanksgiving just landed where it, and really we've manipulated Thanksgiving too based on shopping trends. At one point it was always like the last Thursday in November, and then they're like, oh, okay, well, let's push it back a little bit so we can do this. I mean, it's been the last Thursday the last couple of times, but there's some Thanksgivings where you have almost a full week of November after before you get into December.
Right. Yeah, because it's all about things happening at the end of a month, right? Mm-hmm. So Halloween at the end of October, Thanksgiving end of November, Christmas end of December, and going into New Year. So I think it's more like it started to gravitate over time that way because it just became easier for everyone to kind of make their life schedule plans. Mm-hmm. But, well, the holidays are going to happen at the sort of this section. That's where all those moments are going to be where family is gathering and doing outlandish stuff.
One of my favorite Thanksgiving movies is a movie called Home for the Holidays, directed by Jodie Foster, starring Holly Hunter. It's phenomenal. And it is probably one of the most realistic depictions of a family getting together that I have ever seen in my life. And it's hilarious. I watch it every single year. And this year, the line that really got me is Anne Bancroft is crying because the Thanksgiving meal isn't going away, and she's like, we get together and we try so hard, and then those bastards put Christmas. Right? He's like, it's like, we should have another year, and then those bastards put Christmas right a month later. And there's a lot of like truth to that, right? It also is weird, too, because we use Thanksgiving as this sort of unofficial divider to when Christmas is supposed to start. Because, like, if you were to go to Poland last week, Poland already has stuff decorated for Christmas, and they're ready to go. Because they don't have this thing of where people are like, you're either after Thanksgiving or before Thanksgiving.
Poland doesn't have Thanksgiving.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right,
like,
right.
So Poland doesn't give a shit when they decorate for Christmas.
Right.
Only the United States is the one that has this weird like delineation of like you have to either wait or, and it's become something that people argue about. There's so much more going on in this world. Do not argue about if someone wants to put their Christmas tree up in November, like on November 1st, it's not hurting you. Don't worry about it. You know what? If someone wants to wait to put their Christmas lights up until the day before Christmas, who gives a shit?
I've always felt Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas decorations all complement each other. I would be in favor of people doing all three the whole time. So Halloween decorations all the way through Christmas, as long as there's Christmas decorations mixed in there as well. And Thanksgiving decorations could stick around for a bit longer if it wants to, but could come into October a bit earlier.
Now, if people were smart, they would make a single like inflatable decoration that, for example, it's 3 hats, right? So the first one is it's a like let's say it's a ghost, right? Like, so it's a ghost inflatable, and you put a jack-o'-lantern hat on it right before Halloween, and then you put a pilgrim hat on it right before Thanksgiving, and then there's a Santa hat. So you don't have to change your inflatable. You just change the headgear that they're wearing.
I just had an idea.
Oh, lay it on me.
So I'm in the process of buying a house right now.
Okay.
Right? So next year will be my first year as a homeowner for the holidays. And I've never, ever decorated, ever once. I think I'm going to come up with some kind of a exterior decoration that starts early October and goes through the holidays. And the theme is all of the holidays.
Okay.
St. Patty's Day, Valentine's Day is going to be in there. If it's a holiday, it's getting in there somehow. And then that's just going to be up like a big just blah of holidays from October through December.
Near my house, someone bought one of those 15-foot tall skeletons that you can get from Home Depot. And I imagine it's a real bear to get that thing in and out. Like, you must have to stake that thing into the you maybe are concreting that thing into the ground.
I think they leave it in year-round, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
And what they do is they change up the look. So during the summer, they bought like a 5XL Hawaiian shirt, and so they put the Hawaiian shirt on the skeleton. During Christmas, it's got a big-ass Santa hat on it. Of course, during Halloween, they just have to have it be a skeleton. But I like that. And then I saw somebody else who has this huge like display of skeletons for Halloween, and now they've just dressed up all the skeletons to look like they are. In fact, it's like a pirate ship theme, and I'm like, all you have to do is stick a sign on the side of it that says Mayflower, and you've got Thanksgiving covered, man. Or like the SS Gravy, so it becomes your gravy boat. Like, you're just done with it. By the way, so this is what in my industry we call a tease. On the next episode, I have got full details about a skunk who sprayed the front of my house, and so my house smelled like a skunk. So you're going to want to catch the next episode of JJ Meets World because it's going to be a doozy. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help us continue to produce new episodes each week, visit jjmeetsworld.com, where you can donate to our Patreon, pick up some swag at the merch shop, or follow our link to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, all the sites the cool kids are using these days. JJ Meets World is produced every week by Tucker Lucas. You can find out more about Tucker's work by visiting moonbasemaria.com. If you want to get in touch with your host with the most, check out linebenders.com, where you can find direct contact info for JJ or booking information. The problem with office Christmas parties is I don't work at a Toys R Us.